Today, we will explore how experience curriculum in Brightwheel can transform your classroom and provide powerful support for you and your team. We'll cover the latest curriculum updates, grounded in research and best practices, and show how our platform helps prevent teacher burnout while enhancing the learning experience. With that, let's get started. And before we kick off our presentation, I want to do a quick overview of our curriculum. Experience Curriculum is an easy to implement curriculum system. It comes with digital lesson plans available in the app and hands-on learning materials mailed to your program. Designed around 35 research-based skills to improve learning outcomes, a flexible learning lesson plans for baby, toddlers, and preschool age groups. And it's aligned with NAEYC Common Core, Head Start, and all 50 states' early learning standards. You can also easily share children's developmental progress with their families. And our goal is just to make your life a lot easier inside and outside the classroom. And if you're just joining us, our webinar for today is titled The Perfect Duo: How Experience Curriculum with Brightwheel Can Support Teachers and Prevent Burnout. We all know that education is a rewarding profession, whether you are an owner, director, or teacher. However, it can be overwhelming with the amount of responsibilities as your list grows. So there isn't sometimes sufficient support, and it's no surprise that many folks may feel overwhelmed and underprepared, right, for those important roles, which can really impact the quality of education that they're able to provide. So we're going to talk about how Brightwheel can support you with experience curriculum so that you can get back doing what matters most to you, helping the young children in your care thrive. So without further ado, Sarah, are you ready to dive in?
I am. Thank you, Haiti. I am going to share my screen here. So just one moment while I pull this up. And Haiti, can you just let me know that you can see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. I am super excited to share with you how Experience Curriculum and Brightwheel can really support you and your educators in making your daily life a little bit more easier. As we get started here, I would love to hear from you. So, in the chat, if you could list some reasons why you think or why you personally feel why teachers, administrators, or owners in early childhood might feel burnt out. So go ahead and take a moment and just start putting those all in the chat. Um, as you guys are putting those in, I'm seeing lots of answers come in. Thank you so much. What might not surprise you is that in a recent research article about teacher burnout, it stated that over half of educators, specifically teachers of preschoolers, are feeling burnt out. And a lot of you are probably nodding your head right now and thinking, yes, because you feel that. And many of the reasons for this are what you're putting in the chat right now. Um, and we're learning that educators have to wear a lot of hats. They often have to create learning activities, align those learning activities to the standards, purchase materials, or at least maybe go find them in a supply closet that usually is not the most organized supply closet. Then you have to count, cut, organize all of those materials just to make the activity go smoothly. Then, on top of that, you have to stay up to date on research. What are the best practices that are coming out? How do you maybe have to adapt that curriculum that your school bought 3 years ago to match the best practices in education? Then you have to communicate with families, plan assessment. You need to make sure that you are then actually observing children and doing that assessment. On top of that, you have to document everything, right? You want to make sure you're showing that growth and making sure that your classroom is set up with positive routines. And it's a good learning environment for your children. And then you have to, of course, support that wide range of learners. As they're coming into your classroom, they all have different experiences and everyone learns a little bit differently. So getting to know them and then supporting them. And then on top of all that, you just want to make it fun for them. Our goal is really for children to fall in love with learning. And so we need to make sure that we're able to do that. And it's exhausting to do all of those things. And it really leads to burnout teachers, which then in turn, if you're an administrator or an owner, leads to more work for you because you're having to add hiring to your list of things to do as well, on top of enrollment, financial things, and everything else. But what if there was a way that you could do everything that's listed on these hats in partnership with Brightwheel to take some of that off of your plate? How much time would that save you? And how much stress would that maybe save you and your teachers? Today, we're going to take a look at how partnering with Experience Curriculum with Brightwheel can help take some of that off of your plate. By adding experience curriculum to your Brightwheel subscription, you will see that you are going to be able to save you and your teachers hours every single week with a thematic study that is sent to you. It is aligned with your state standards, and it's going to be shipped directly to your classroom. Inside of this box is going to be aligned activities that are going to seamlessly integrate with your Brightwheel Learning tab. I always like to tell people it's like automagically, like once you get it, all of a sudden all those activities are going to populate in there for you to use. You're then going to be able, within that Brightwheel Learning tab, be able to customize it for those unique situations, share with families to keep families more in the loop, and then, of course, assess children simply with the click of a button. You're also going to be able to support your teachers. So if you're an administrator or an owner right now, you know that keeping your teachers happy and making sure that they're excited about learning is really important, especially new teachers that are coming into your schools. And so the Experience Curriculum is an easy to implement program where teachers don't have to do all of the planning and prep, which takes up hours. Instead, they're going to be able to spend the time that they gain by doing what they got into education to do, engaging with the children and supporting those children as they grow and that they learn that learning is actually super fun. And lastly, with our program being updated and sent out to you monthly, you can rest assured that the latest research and best practices are being introduced to your teachers and integrated into your program every single month. You can continuously increase the quality of your school, knowing that the best research practices are going to be in the hands of your teachers. So I'd like to kind of take a step back and share with you what we hear from the people who are already using Brightwheel and Experience Curriculum together. We hear from customers just like you that by pairing Experience Curriculum with Brightwheel, it is truly the perfect duo. So we're going to take a deeper look here into the curriculum, and we're actually going to also give you some sneak peeks into some of the improvements that we're making for next school year, that is going to make sure that, again, you are up to date with the newest research and best practices. So as we dig in here, I want to share with you that we have 3 core curriculums that are going to be tailored to your program. All of these are built on our developmental skills continuum that is aligned with your state standards. We're also aligned with Head Start, NACCE, and Common Core, as Haiti mentioned at the beginning. Each program is going to provide engaging activities, materials, and differentiation strategies to support your teachers, as well as that seamless integration with Brightwheel. Our goal is to really help the teachers create integrated experiences that support the whole child. So our lesson plans are going to show how a single activity can foster a mixture of social emotional, language and literacy, math, and maybe even scientific skills. They'll have a combination of our 35 skills here. And so I'd like to put a picture to this because I think seeing it is really powerful. So in this photo, this is actually one of the activities that our students would do. And in this photo, you can see these 3 children in a small group doing what might look like a simple science experiment, where they're talking about the water on the one side that has ice in it and is cold, and the water on the other side that is room temperature. And so you might think this is science. But if you dig a little bit deeper, what you also will notice is that they're also building vocabulary. They're also talking to each other and taking turns listening, which builds some of that language and literacy and social skills. And then at the core of it, again, that excitement for learning is one of those things that we want to develop for our children from an early age to set them up for their learning journey that they continue on. All right, so how do we bring some of those skills to life? We do that through 36 engaging themes. These themes help the children explore the world through play. And by providing 36 themes, that's 36 themes that your teachers don't have to come up with a whole month of activities around. We've done that for them. Providing them with fresh monthly ideas are going to keep your teachers energized and excited about what's coming up next. Each theme is going to include 20 days of play-based learning, which is going to cover key concepts like character traits, shapes, colors, letters, and numbers. And you'll even get a yearly scope and sequence, which is going to help you simplify your long-term planning and know that you will be covering every essential core concept throughout the year just by following the program. Now let's take a look at like what does an actual lesson plan look like? And when I say it's easy to implement, what does that actually look like? So each day, when you open up one of our teacher's guides, you're going to find that children are going to engage in activities like circle time, creative projects, small group literacy and math, storytelling, and a lot of movement and music. And all of those activities are going to be aligned with the key developmental skills that we chatted about earlier that are aligned with your state standards. Best of all, the lessons are going to come with pre-organized materials. And when I say pre-organized, I mean the work is done for you. So you're going to find for each lesson, you have the art supplies. You're going to have, if there's an activity where they need to have a crown, you're going to have die cut, pre-cut crowns there for you. You don't have to do that. You'll find books that will be included in there along with storytelling pieces. You'll find math manipulatives, games, all kinds of things, which we'll dive into in a little bit here, organized and ready to go. And best of all, it's going to have enough for every child. So you no longer are going to have to do last minute supply orders, fight with that copy machine that never works when you need it to, or even have to print things out and buy ink and paper and all of that. All of that expense will be gone because you're going to be getting it in your monthly curriculum kit. Now, within these lesson plans, we also know that it's important to support teachers in knowing how to meet the needs of every child because they're coming to you with unique needs and they're going to be developing skills on different timelines. And so within each of our activities, you will find that we have adaptations built in. So you can see here an example of our toddler program. On the left-hand side, you see that we have an example for what you might do with a younger toddler versus an older toddler. And then within our preschool, this is an example on the right-hand side of one of our preschool activities where we have built in simplify and challenge prompts. This is a topic that is sometimes very challenging for our teachers to be able to think of how do I meet the needs of all of the children and not just do the same thing for everyone. So we've taken that work off their plate, given them developmentally appropriate adaptations so that they can meet the needs of every child that's in their care. Now, I am super excited to pass it over to Kelly, who is going to share with you a sneak peek of some of the really exciting things that we have coming up in the next school year. All right, Kelly, go for it.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm super excited to share some of the curriculum updates with you. You're the first group to hear them, so really exciting. Because we send out monthly boxes, we're able to regularly update them quickly to align to the latest research. And we also really value customer feedback and are able to roll those into regular cycles of improvements as well. So starting with our February curriculum of this year, we now have digital versions of preschool teacher guides. These Spanish guides are free to experienced curriculum partners to eliminate the stress of trying to translate if you're a native Spanish speaker when implementing our program. And beginning in September 2025, we will also offer books in Spanish, and you can see an example here. Very exciting. Another area where we're making improvements is to enhance our language and literacy instruction within our program with engaging activities that align to the science of reading. And I'm going to show you a couple examples over the next few slides. This slide outlines our new circle time activity called Alphabet Adventure. It's a simple routine that's structured that builds phonics skills. Learning is reinforced through quick applications like pictures or names and fun chants. You can see some chants here, as well as mouth movements to support children who are working on articulation of certain sounds. This is our new Storytime Connections. So in preschool, there are 2 books that are provided that are related to the theme each month. And we have outlined 3 suggested ways to read the book to really build that vocabulary and narrative comprehension. And the vocabulary words are at the bottom with child-friendly definitions. The next 2 are Write and Wonder. So in our creative corner, we have explicit writing instruction now included to support early writing skills. And we have literacy lessons that will follow our new phonological awareness scope and sequence. And skills are introduced in small group and then reinforced in our tabletop activities and include differentiation for different learners. And we're so excited and we look forward to you trying these new features, and please keep your feedback coming because we read every line. Sarah, over to you.
Thanks so much, Kelly. I'm super excited about these. These have been things that customers have been sharing. And so we're excited to give them, some of the things that they're asking for. So on top of all of those exciting lessons, what are some other things that are going to come in that box to you each and every month? One of the key benefits of using our curriculum is that you're getting all the core materials that you need to do the activities that are in there. And so these types of materials that you see here on the screen, I want to iterate, are going to come every single month. So fresh ideas and fresh materials every single month. You're going to receive things like the journals, which we are going to be making some improvements in our literacy instruction around. You're going to receive books that come with storytelling pieces. You'll have tons of different games to practice phonics, as well as hands-on letter parts and themed name tags. And best of all, these are going to come to you every single month, and you get to keep them. So not only are you using them during the month, but you're building your classroom environment with really high quality games and things like that that children can explore. A favorite of many educators and students are the books. And you can see at the top here, we have a variety of different books that we send out each month. One of the exciting things that is also coming next year is an additional book for our baby curriculum. So we are, again, always improving, always trying to add more value to our boxes to get these high quality things in your hands. Now, of course, in addition to literacy materials, we want children to explore math materials as well. And so they will have hands-on tools and resources to really help them develop number sense, problem solving skills, patterns, shapes, and much more. And all of the hands-on tools will be explored through activities. So you're not just going to get the tool and have no idea what to do with it. There's going to be intentional activities that you'll be able to do in small group with your children to explore these different materials that are sent to you. And then again, keep in mind, all of them are yours to keep. So you are continuously building a really rich learning environment to continue the practice of the skills that you introduce each and every month. Now, I know what many of you are thinking is, okay, this all looks great. What does it look like on Brightwheel? And so that's what we're going to take a look at right now. All of these engaging activities are going to be integrated into your Brightwheel app. And I'm going to pause here just for a second. The digital activities that we took a look at in the teacher's guide are going to be, as I say, automatically uploaded right into your learning tab. And so when you become an experienced curriculum customer, you will click on the learning portion. And in the learning portion, you're going to see all of the weeks of materials that you have. And then within here, you'll have every single activity that is listed in your teacher's guide. In addition to having it there, it'll have the skills. It'll tell you kind of if it's a small group, if it's an art. And then when you click into it, you're going to see that you have got the skills that are listed. You'll be able to click in and see the supplies that you need to go to your box and grab out because, again, those supplies are provided to you. And then, of course, you have the ability to be able to add any notes. So rather than having your teachers spend time planning and prepping and doing all of that, your teachers can spend some time really reflecting on the activity and thinking about what are some things that they can do to adapt it for the children in their classroom. Another thing that you'll notice within the Brightwheel app is that you will be able to, let me go here and find one, pull up all of our music right in the app. So we include music in a variety of different ways, music and movement, practicing different skills. There will be a themed CD for every single month. And when I say themed CD, I mean like a playlist of them. You don't need a CD anymore because you've got them all in Brightwheel. And so you'll be able to find them right at point of use, right within your app. You do also have the ability to customize within here. So if you know that something's coming up and you need to move an activity, you can simply move things around within the week to customize how you want to do it. You also have the ability to add a learning activity. So if you have a special activity coming up for maybe a birthday, you can go in and find that activity in your library and simply add it straight to your lesson plan. So you're really able to customize what every single day and every single week looks like. I think the most game-changing piece to this, though, is the visibility and the satisfaction you're going to get from families, because we just customized this whole activity. And now just with this little click of a button up here where it says share with parents, you click that one button. And what happens now is that lesson plan or that plan that you're doing that week is going to go straight to the family's app, so they have complete visibility into what their child is doing and can continue the learning at home with them. So let's take a look at what that looks like for families. So I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna actually make this a little bit bigger for you guys so you can see it. So on the Families app, they will be able to go into their child's classroom, as you can see here, and they'll be able to go to the Learning tab and find the date that they want. Once they click on that date, they're going to be able to see the activities that their child engaged in throughout that day. So not only can they just see the name of it and the skills, but they'll also be able to click into one of those activities and see what was the teacher asking, what was the song that they sang, and be able to actually play that song at home. So if families are looking for ways to continue the development of their child, they can absolutely do that right through the Brightwheel app because they now have access to what you're doing in the classroom. Anytime that you send a picture, of course, we can tag it with different skills, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. But you'll see that all of this excitement that the child is doing can be added to right to their feed so that they really truly have visibility into what their child's doing each and every day. We also have, in addition to what's in Brightwheel, we know that family engagement is really crucial to keeping enrollment high and your doors open and keeping families satisfied. I did see some of the things that cause burnout with sometimes those conversations with families and keeping them happy. And so we want to help you in doing that. So how we do that is we've got tons of resources to help you. We have a media kit that's going to help you engage families in what children are doing each and every day. We also have these different family flyers. So as you are doing tours or you're trying to increase your enrollment, passing out flyers that show the high quality program that you're using, we have found from other customers has been really key. And then once the child is enrolled in your school and taking part in experience curriculum, you have the app, but you also will have newsletters that are going to be printed in your kit, ready to go to be sent home to family members. We also have digital copies available to you that you can send through the Brightwheel app as well. And so either way, you're going to be engaging families in exactly what's going on to the classroom. And so a lot of providers have shared that one of the key benefits other than saving time is because how satisfied parents are with it. They know that their child's getting a high quality education and they are able to see it with their own eyes every single day. All right, so let's chat and move a little bit into assessment. We know that engaging activities and having quality materials is amazing. But part of what a teacher's job is to track the growth and assess children so that we can make instructional decisions on what we need to do next with that child. Do we need to use that simplify prompt that's listed there, or do we need to use the challenge prompt? So what we've done for you is we've mapped out a yearly assessment plan to guide teachers in tracking skills and regular intervals. So no guesswork of whether or not they've tracked the skills enough. We've done all of that work for them. So a teacher would open their lesson plan or look in the Brightwheel app, and they would be able to look for a starred activity within our lesson plans. And that star indicates that it's an assessment opportunity. Teachers then have a variety of resources to really help them identify and consistently assess which benchmark a child is at. So we have support for that within the app, but we also have a different support within the lesson plans to help teachers do that as well. Teachers then have different resources where they can record it manually, or with the Brightwheel app, you can make assessments so simple and do it within minutes. So if you take a look here, I'm going to show you a little bit about what that looks like within your app. So in your app here, essentially you would be going and finding the activity that you want to assess. Once you find that assessment or that assessed activity, you'll be able to see all the directions here like normal. You'll be able to see the supplies that you need just like normal. You can kind of take a look at what it is, but then you'll be able to click log observation. Once you click that button, you have the ability to select which students you are observing. You can observe one student at a time if you'd like, or you can select multiple children. So if this is in a small group setting, you don't have to do individual ones for every single child. You can do it much faster. So you'll select the child that you're watching, click next, and what's going to happen is the skills that are part of that activity are already loaded in there for you. So you'll be able to quickly click on the skill, and what will then populate for you is the developmental continuum. So that support is built into your app. As the teacher, you'll be able to quickly look and see what benchmark they are at and select that benchmark, and then update the progress. You then can add the additional skill, because remember, we have multiple skills within each activity so that we are developing the whole child. And then you can update the progress. You also have the ability to add a photo of what's going on during that activity. I know families love to see that in their feed every single day. And then there's also a note that is going to be pre-populated. Teachers have the ability to just leave that note that's sharing what the child did, or they can even go in and adjust it. So if there's something specific that they want to share about how amazing the child did with this activity, they can go in and add more details to that for the family. And then here's the key part that I love. As a teacher, you have the ability. Do you want to share this with a family member immediately? Or do you want to keep it as staff only? If you keep staff only, it'll stay as an internal observation so that you can use those observations to track the growth of the child. If it is something that you want the family to see immediately in their feed, you can leave that as not staff only, which means it would go to the family's feed immediately and be able to then see what their child is doing and the progress they're making. In the background, Brightwheel is working to create these reports for you. So every time you log an observation, we are immediately updating your reports to show the most recent progress for each child. So in your reports, you'll be able to look at a learning report for every single child in your classroom for all of the different domains and skills, and see where they are at so that you can make some instructional decisions, groupings, however you want to do it. You'll also be able to click into an individual child and be able to see exactly how they're doing for each of the skills as kind of a progress report for that child. These are great to be able to share with families so that they can also see the most updated benchmark for their child. And then what I think is super powerful is when we're going to tell that child's learning story, you can make a digital learning portfolio within Brightwheel where you can pull all of those observations, all of those pictures into Brightwheel and share the learning journey that they had over the first half of the year or even the full year with the family. And all of those observations are saved for you. You simply would then just need to drag and drop. So super exciting, making assessment easier for you. Now, I know I'm seeing some of the questions that are in the chat, and I know you guys are wondering, like, okay, how do I get started? I need more information about this. What I want to let you know is that when you do get started with Experience Curriculum, we have a dedicated team that is dedicated to ensure a smooth launch for you. And so we have an onboarding team of specialists who provide training, they'll provide support. In addition to that, we have lots of resources that are available to you 24/7 in our help center that have video tutorials, articles for you to really have a strong understanding of this curriculum. And then, of course, we also have our support team who is available through your app via chat, email, or through scheduled phone calls that they're happy to support you as you get started with Experience Curriculum. Now, on top of that, though, we also want to help you get started in your environment. So every single new customer also receives a complimentary Getting Started kit. That Getting Started kit is there to support getting your classroom environment set up. It also gives you resources for staff training on how the curriculum works. That goes in addition to the training that we have through our onboarding team. And you'll also have things like center signs, feelings check-ins. You'll get a big poster of that developmental continuum, a routine print off. All of those things will be available to you in your complimentary Getting Started kit to ensure that you are ready to go when you get started with Experience Curriculum. Oops, I went the wrong way there. My apologies. Okay, so I want you to think back to all of those hats that you were wearing and your educators were wearing, and you currently are probably wearing. And a lot of times they were causing major burnout for maybe you specifically, or a colleague, or one of the teachers that is at your center. And with Brightwheel and Experience Curriculum, we want to give you the opportunity to pass some of those hats over to us. We want you to have the energy and the time to focus on other areas of growing your business, or focus on the reason why you got into early childhood education, which is the children. Not the printing, not the cutting things out, not spending hours trying to come up with days of activities. We can take that burden off of you with this partnership, and we are super excited to do it. Now, I do always like to bring in, from other customers, how they feel. And so I'll just leave you with one last quote here from one of our current Brightwheel and Experience Curriculum teachers that I found really powerful. Many times when we think about curriculum or a new curriculum, we think that veteran teachers don't need a curriculum to support them because they're really good at what they do and they have that experience, so they can do it all themselves, right? And while it may be true that they can do it all themselves and that they do have skills like that, it really causes burnout to put all of that on them. And so by using Experience Curriculum, you can help your teachers fall back in love with teaching, letting them make sure that they are doing the types of things that they got into teaching to do. And by doing that, it's going to increase your retention of your teachers because they don't have all of those hats piled on top of them. So if you are interested in learning more about the program and how we can help take the burden off of you and your teachers, we invite you to book some time with one of our education specialists where we can really kind of customize this to your specific program, your specific ages, and really help you understand how this program can meet the unique needs of your center or your school.